Hi, do you have a few minutes? My name is Tara Rolstad, and I'm glad to be a part of this event again, celebrating women and art and mental health with Cascadia Behavioral Health. I'm a comedian, a speaker, and an author, and I create my art with words. I use my art to bring joy, speak truth, connect with others, and repurpose my experiences. My work is helping communities and organizations learn how to get it right on mental health, but right now, I'm really struggling with some existential questions. The big ones like, who am I? What's my purpose in the world? And am I a terrible parent? Questions like, is it possible for a teenager to make ramen without leaving crunchy little noodle bits all over the counter and the floor? And if it is possible, how does the statistical probability of that event change if one was to be so demanding as to say, I don't know, require that the wrapper go in the garbage and not also on the counter? And if a teenager were to achieve all of those conditions, would it in fact warp the very fabric of space and time? Would it? I mean, have I utterly failed as a parent if my oldest son had to call home from college and ask for help because they didn't know how to use a pop-top can? I mean, the kid was starving. They just wanted a bowl of chili, but he didn't even know how to open a pop-top. This is a kid who took college calculus in high school, but still occasionally requires help opening his fruit snacks. Where exactly did I go wrong? I mean, I get that none of these are make it or break it questions, but I mean, why can't anyone even put their dishes in the dishwasher? I heard that Amazon is adding Alexa to some dishwashers, and I would buy an Alexa-enabled dishwasher if they did it right. I mean, she'd probably start really nice, right? Like, bong! The dishwasher is currently ready to receive new items. But then, knowing my family, she'd have to get rough, Bong! Excuse me, you just put those dishes on the counter 6 inches away from me. And you didn't even look. I'm dirty. Come on! Yeah, I would buy that dishwasher. I mean, I don't get it. It's on the counter, in the dishwasher. On the counter, it's so close. Why? Why? I don't get it. Again, these aren't make it or break it issues. I get it. But I think, the pandemic has left us a little twitchy, extra frustrated and irritable at everything. Brene Brown, she says that we just need to build in space to experience the grief and loss, the pangs of vulnerability and the uncertainty of what comes next. No, thank you, Brene. I'm going to stick with Cheetos, Ding Dongs, and Netflix. Yeah, thank you. The last 2 years have just been a disaster for mental health. We're all depressed, we're anxious, we're feeling it. If you're feeling that way, you're not alone. You're not. Adults say they are more stressed out now than they've ever been before. And adolescent mental health visits to the emergency room went up 30% last year. Trying to find a therapist is like being on a competitor on the saddest new reality show on TV. It is. It's like, on tonight's episode, Dr. Mandy's voicemail is overflowing with calls. Will any of our competitors get through? And if they do, will she even take their insurance? Stay tuned for tonight on The Therapist. Yeah, on that show, you don't even get a rose. You just get like a brochure on depression. It's sad. You know what a person struggling with mental health or their caregiver needs? You know what we really need? We need to be seen and heard and accepted. You know what we don't need? We don't need your cockeyed health tips from the internet. Nope, we don't. I don't care if it's about mental health or obesity or arthritis. I don't care. I don't want to know how your cousin cured his lumbago with the essential oils. I don't. I don't want to know how you treated your devastating elbow illness with magnets and apple cider vinegar. Nope, I don't. I am relieved about one thing. As the pandemic hopefully comes to a close, I'm relieved that I can go back to officially embracing being regular unproductive instead of having to feel bad about being pandemic unproductive, because that was way too stressful. I mean, remember when everything shut down 2 years ago? Projects! We were all going to do so many projects with our new free time. We were going to learn a new language, cook fancy French food, study the economic history of Micronesia, and then macrame. I mean, some of us did learn new hobbies, right? I mean, a lot of you apparently made sourdough from all the posts on Facebook. Sourdough. I laughed in the face of your fermented flour. I learned how to make do with 3 squares of toilet paper. Yeah. I mean, my husband always said that this was how I actually used toilet paper, but that's not true. It's not true. Unless I'm in one of those buildings or facilities where they use the super thin, super cheap stuff. And then I'm like, no way, I won't be tricked by that. No way, I'm just winding up. Can I go on a little bit of a tangent here with you? Because, I went on the internet to search for how many ply my favorite Charmin was. The good stuff that we've been hoarding from Costco since 2020. It's 2-ply, so rest easy there. But what I didn't expect was for such a simple Google search to bring me such conclusive proof that humans have reached an entirely new level of stupid. Yeah, and a mystery too. Because I found this on the Charmin website in the FAQ section. Do not ask me why toilet paper needs an FAQ. Don't ask me. I think what I'm about to share with you proves that we humans are the problem and not the toilet paper. But I'm going to read it to you just as I found it on the interwebs. Ready? Dear Charmin, the piles on my Charmin Ultra are not lined up. It's not tearing in the right place. Whatever shall I do? Answer. Here's an easy fix if the piles aren't lining up. Hold the roll in front of you with a paper winding over the top. Pull the top ply up and drop it back behind the roll. Its perforations should match now with the layer that's on top. Tear away the excess and you're good to go. Good to go. Nice one, Charmin. I'm guessing they actually meant plies and not piles. I mean, after an extensive, 3-minute search on the interwebs, again, I found no evidence that it was anything other than just a typo missed by Procter & Gamble, but it was a most unfortunate typo. Because you know what piles is another word for? Hemorrhoids. Yeah, piles. That's what your grandma used to call them. And that is not what I want to be thinking about when I'm just trying to get the answers to some pressing ply questions. And who needed help with that and wrote into Charmin because they couldn't figure out how to line up their plies? Sad. Really is. There were some good moments in the pandemic, for sure. I think the best moment was last fall. It was fantastic. It was last fall when our kids went back to school. We parents were so happy for them. They were going to get to be immersed in their educational experience again, be with their friends, do sports, and get out of our house. Yeah, those were good days full of hope and joy. It was kind of like a reverse wilding, a reverse Amish Rumspringa. Instead of the kids, it was the parents that went wild, and we were all lunching with friends all the time and day drinking and watching soap operas and the Ellen Show. It was amazing. And then came Omicron and its baby brother, Omicron 2A. And now we're all exhausted again and not really sure what the future holds. We're so miserable that we're willing to turn to technology to help us with our mental health. We're willing to turn to artificial intelligence, robots, for help. A recent survey found that 68% of people would rather talk to a robot than their boss about how stressed out they are. And 80% would take a robot for a therapist. I think this is a sign of just how bad our mental health is, that we would rather talk to a robot about all of this. We don't recognize the dangers inherent in this situation. One theory is that people are willing to accept this technology because they feel like the robots won't judge them. Hello? Have you watched any science fiction? Our robot overlords will absolutely judge us, and then they will smite us for our weaknesses. 68% of people would rather talk to a robot than their boss about their stress. I mean, you don't even need a comedian for that, because only corporate America would look at this problem and think, well, clearly we need to throw some money at software and an app and a robot, instead of thinking, maybe we need to be better bosses. Think. 68% would rather talk to a robot about their stress. Well, 20% are fine just pretending that they're on the Zoom call while they're actually streaming episodes of ALF. And the other 12% have quit. Yeah, they're part of the Great Resignation. You've probably heard about it. The Great Resignation, it's not when, like I thought at first, just people were all getting together and having a big group sigh. No. Now, the Great Resignation is when people quit their old crappy jobs and get new jobs that won't leave them feeling so stressed out that they feel the need to spill their guts to robots that are plotting their extinction. Hey, thanks for the chat.